Welcome to the Resource at Home show. Today we're going to talk about organizing and how to plan around what you have. I am Nureed Saeed of New Interiors, one of the contributors to Resource at Home. Joining me today is Sarah G of Sarah G Interiors and also a contributor to Resource at Home. And our very special guest today is Ese Crossett of Tidylosophy. Ese is based in Maplewood, New Jersey, and her philosophy on being tidy and making a plan for your home is something I know I can learn from and love hearing about her speak, and I think everyone else will too. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so Ese, tell us how you started your business and tell us what's the philosophy behind Tidylosophy.
Okay, so how I started was, so I had my first child last year in March, and I'm a full-time accountant. Yes, I'm a full-time accountant. And I've always had this love for interior design and had this love for organizing things. So I thought, I need to start planning for my future where I could be more flexible and available for my son and at the same time actually do a job that I enjoy. So I've been in accounting for like almost 9 years, but I'm really a creative person. So I like colors, I like clean, I like neatness, all that stuff. So I thought, why not start a firm that combines interior design or decorating and organizing? And so that's how Tidylosophy was born in February. And since then, I've been teaching this philosophy, which is tidy ways, easy days. And it really means that for you to have an easy day tomorrow, you have to prepare today. And so it just means like changing your habits and forming new habits that you take on, and it easily transforms your life and you don't see it as a chore to be tidy, but it's really like a way of living. And I came up with that because I grew up in Nigeria and my mom had 7 kids and she ran a business. So she had a bookstore. So I've been organizing things from a very young age. Like I worked at her bookstore as young as 15. So I did inventory. I organized her books by height, by color. I loved that stuff.
I did that for my uncle had a bookstore, and I did the same thing. It was like my dream summer job.
Oh yeah, exactly. It was like my high school, throughout my high school job. And my mom was very, very organized. Rest in peace, mom. And so I carried all that stuff with me. And that's it was kind of like a coming together for me earlier this year. And I'm like, this is what I should be doing.
That's amazing. So since you've been doing it, what are the areas people seem to need the most help with when it comes to organizing?
So there are 2 top areas. So the first one is like kids spaces / playrooms. So like kids rooms and playrooms. And then the second is pantry. Everyone asks about how they can organize their pantry. I've gotten questions about like narrow pantries, small pantries, up to like walk-in pantries, big pantries. And so those are the 2 main areas.
So talk to us about some of your tips for the pantry organizing.
Okay, so these tips, anyway, for me, they work in any pantry organizing project that I've done. So I've done kind of like medium to large pantry, and I have a small pantry at home. And so these tips are simple. You have to go through the things in your pantry. And I know nobody likes to do that, but you have to go through the stuff in your pantry at least twice a month. So you have to look through your pantry. You have to sort. You have to look at expiration dates. You have to look at, like, sometimes we just have canned foods just chilling in the pantry and you haven't used them in ages. So you might want to take that stuff out and donate it. So the main thing is you have to empty it out and sort through it. And then the second, like, a given, because if you leave all these things in boxes, like grains or pasta or whatever, you go to the store and then you buy more and they just like become a mountain in the pantry and they're just like shoved back there and you never really know how much you got. So when you use the food containers, you're seeing all the food you got, you label them so you see when you're running low, you can replenish and it keeps everything organized. And then lastly, I create zones in all the pantries so you keep categories of foods together and then make sure the zones have homes. So that means I use things like bins, baskets, to make sure I'm categorizing things. So when you need to replenish your pantry, the order of the pantry is maintained because you just put things right back in their bins and where you've had labels and all that stuff. And so those are the the things that I do in every pantry organizing that works, no matter the size of the pantry.
So just to recap, so clear your pantry, go through your food twice a month, get rid of old food, stale food, expired food.
Right.
You create zones for your food, so categorize your food. So like chips, kid snacks, however it is that makes sense for you. And then use baskets to house those zones.
Exactly. Right.
Awesome.
I feel like now is a really good time for a lot of us to start organizing our pantries. I don't know about you guys, but I have sort of raided my pantry and made some discoveries that were not pleasant, of food that's 3-4 years out of date.
You both would be horrified to have come to my pantry at the beginning of COVID. I am ashamed, but I will admit it in public, online, recorded for live YouTube television. I had something in my pantry. I had a pasta from 2010. It predated being married to my husband.
Wow.
It moved with me through 4 homes.
Right.
I mean,
well, I hope you ate it,
you guys. This is why the two of you are needed, even to people like me, because even though I design, I do not organize. I'm not, that's not what I am the best at. So, Sarah, what else did you do for because you're currently in construction on your kitchen. So was there anything as you've been sorting through, was there anything, that are great tips that you have for pantry or kitchen organizing?
Well, it's more just be really realistic about what your lifestyle. Like, I found myself having to throw away a bunch of food because it was all sort of aspirational. Like, I'm going to eat millet. I don't eat millet. I mean, I don't even eat rice. I buy frozen rice from Trader Joe's because it's done perfectly every time. Out with the rice. So I've really scaled back, and I'm trying to really stick to the staples that I use. And I haven't sort of made that jump to the clear containers completely, but I'm sort of halfway there, and it really does make a difference, I think. It also looks really pretty.
Yeah, it looks really pretty.
So let's go to the next big topic that I know a lot of us have all heard from clients, as well as just people, chatting online, is with COVID, the home office is really a must-have these days. So what are some organizing tips that you have for people who don't have a proper office space?
Okay, so this one I lived through. I mean, now I have a designated office. At the beginning of COVID, it was like, we just moved here like a year ago, so everything is ready. What I used to do was I had to pick a spot. So I would say you have to pick a spot in your house where you want to work from. So it could be dining, or it could be the kitchen counter, it could be your bedroom, like get a desk in there. But I'd say pick a spot and stick to that spot, and then keep all your work stuff in the same spot every day.
So, Sarah, do you have any tips for home office, or any just any hacks maybe that you have kind of as you've gone through the process as well? And I know you're building yourself a really amazing office right now that I see beautiful pictures of. But
someday.
In the meantime.
Yeah, one thing I found really helpful is I have like a basket where I keep all my drafting supplies, my floor plan stuff, my graph paper, my scale rule, and I can throw my laptop in it at the end of the day, because currently we have one office and my husband is on constant conference calls or just typing, and it's just very distracting. And I often sort of roam around, like I go into the living room if the kids are upstairs, or sometimes I'll have to go into the guest room. So I like to have sort of a portable basket of my essentials with me.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. So one of the things that struck me, Essie, on your Instagram was you had these little sayings, and the one that really struck me was the one about the mail.
Oh, that's it. I like to have these little, so they're Tidylosophies, but with like a twist, like a joke. So I think it said slay thy mail monster. So you have
Yes.
to open your mail as soon as you get it. You have to sort it, and then you have to toss junk mail immediately, or else there will be a monster waiting for you in your kitchen drawer, like piles of junk mail. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And
Yeah.
I love that you take these like very simple things that a lot of us are guilty of. Right here, I actually don't check my mail. I don't check my mail. I just let it pile in the box until my husband goes and gets it once a week. And then we pile it in a corner and we don't look at it. And then we look at each other and go, who's going to get rid of all this mail? And so, yeah, when I saw you write that, I was like, she spoke to my heart. Like, if I could just get that mail monster out of my house. So, Sarah, tell, like, with everything you've been going through in your own house and just, you know, you've been still busy with client visits and all of that, what's been the thing that you really see people talking about the most, especially because they have time to organize?
Yeah, people do. I have a lot of basement calls. People are wanting to turn their basements into, you know, working space, either for kids because they're home, or, you know, maybe a sneaky little office space. And, you know, home office is another thing. How do I carve out a space? Another interesting call I've been getting is about living rooms. Like you know, we didn't use the living room very often, and now that we're all home for 3 months or whatever it is at this point, I've noticed that I hate my living room. It's not comfortable, you know, bits and pieces that people are complaining about. So they've decided now's the time to tackle it. And yeah, I've been getting a lot of phone calls.
Interesting. What are your kind of your parting words to our audience in terms of organizing? What last tips would you give in terms of just, you know, what people need to do, especially as we some of us are coming out of the quarantine situation, but some of us are still in it. I know I am in California. So any more advice you have to help get us through the summer?
Okay, so, I mean, it just goes back to what I was saying, that you know, you need to change habits if you really want to stay organized. And it might seem daunting at first, but I feel like once you start changing the habits and you stick with it, it'll become second nature. So it wouldn't seem like such a burden to change. And I know from what you were saying about sorting mail that it seems that way, but if you really try and hold yourself accountable and try and do it consistently, it becomes a habit. It will. You just have to actually try your best. And if it still doesn't work, then you hire an organizer.
Well, as soon as you guys can fly out here, then yes, I would definitely hire both of you to come to California and help me, because
and make you a sticker chart.
Yeah, I need something. I definitely do.
Yeah.
Sarah, what would you say your parting words to folks in terms of keeping organized, especially at this time?
I mean, really tackle it bit by bit. What is the one thing that drives you crazy about yourself in your organization, you know, with when it comes to organizing? Like, is it the mail thing? Is it that papers pile up on your desk? Maybe you need a better filing system. Whatever the one thing that drives you the most crazy, focus on that first, and then you may be surprised that maybe clearing your office desk off every Friday afternoon, filing the things that need to be filed, getting kind of organized for Monday morning, maybe that will make other things fall into place.
But I want to thank Essie for joining us, even though she's having technical problems, but that's the fun of Zoom chats. And thanks, Sarah. And next time, hopefully we'll get to see Carla and Lisa. And we'll all get together and have another chat. And after that, I think we're going to talk about some tiles. So
yay!
Join us in the next coming weeks, everybody, and stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye, everyone.